Two components, the visuals and the audio. So let's start with the visuals. Batman has been around quite a long time, and throughout his history there has always been different artists adding to his mythos. Compared to other shows at the time, it was dark.
Oh, it's so dark. Yes, that's what it's good. That's what's good about it.
The cinematic language of the world is established right there. But of course they took it a step further.
And Eric Radomski came up with this really stunning background design where he was using very vibrant colors on black paper to sort of mute the look and give it a darker look.
Radomski wasn't as big a comic book fan as the other creative heads. Rather, he drew inspiration from Tim Burton's Batman in 1989.
The Tim Burton influence, I chose to present the piece I felt was influenced by the dark noir sort of beginnings, and his influence on my sort of perspective of the character was probably the most influential, because I wasn't particularly a comic book reader as a kid.
What's amazing is with that style they lay a strong foundation that's informed so much of the show's choices and coined the term Dark Deco.
Dark Deco is a term that I came up with on the spur of the moment once, just because it is combining two different things. The dark look of the show was something that Eric and I were both really into trying to achieve. We both wanted to bring like a kind of an old-timey film noir kind of sensibility to the visuals. Having the show take place almost all the time at night.
You're not pulling drawings out of the light, you're pulling the drawing out of the darkness, which is, of course, where Batman lives.
It's like, I want to paint that entire city over and over and over again, and especially at night, because all of that dark imagery you've got to paint in. So it just occurred to me, what if we started with the dark environment and we just brought light into it?
We kind of wanted to put our own spin on the superhero world, incorporating, film noir and German expressionism and Art Deco.
Tim Burton's Batman was much more gothic, so they shifted away from that.
In my mind, it was sort of like, what if the 1939 World's Fair had gone on another 60 years or so? And that cool sense of design and stylishness from the Art Deco years was in operation well up until the 90s. That way you could have kind of a rounded look to the cars and a stylish look to the buildings.
Batman was created in the 40s, so it's almost like it just never stopped being the 40s.
We definitely were informed by noir fiction and pulp stories, and Hitchcock was kind of a guiding light. How to deliver mood with camera.
It needs to be animated, it needs to move around a lot. How simple can we make everything?
The Bruce Timm style really is, it's curves against lines. I mean, it's people at Disney were doing that for years and years, in feature.
The whole concept of film noir, that all influenced the writers and the artists and the editors of Batman comics. All of that were just as influential on the people involved with Batman, the animated series. And you can see it clear as day.
You can also hear it, which leads to the next layer of establishing mood. Without sound, animation can't really come to life, but going deeper, it's how you use those audible elements that will really inform the mood. Luckily, this was something else they thought about fully, letting the story tell itself.
He did not want a wall-to-wall music on his shows. At times, sometimes I wish that we had just a little bit more, but he was right in saying that we need breathing space, absolutely. Sometimes you just need a simple sound effect, the dripping of the water, a rat scurrying across a sewer line or something. That's all you needed, and you just let the echo take it.
And then making the TV show was much more interested in making a darker version to the more what the roots of the comic book was. Just goes back to the psychology of what the guy is trying to do. He's trying to scare people. He's trying to make a mythic, almost supernatural persona, because he is a real person, and he's just, he's trying to intimidate and frighten.
The attitude from the 1989 Batman film really drove the momentum of the TV series. and helped to let the executives know that this direction with Batman could be a critical success.
That's one of the things that really helped set the Batman show apart from other cartoons on at the time, was that the high caliber of the vocal performances.
They recorded their lines together in the same room with individual booths, allowing the actors space to react and also to truly emote.
They went back to the core concepts of who Batman is. What was the motivation of the character? What were the things that mattered most to the character?
This is why it's such a masterclass in the setting of a mood, creating a tone and just drenching us in such a rich atmosphere. All the cogs slotted together, and when you hear the opening titles, you know exactly what kind of show you're about to experience. I mean, to me, it's still the greatest title sequence without a title.
It was so stylized.